Throughout my life, the 10 rings gave our family power.
So we just got the release of Shang-Chi and it manages to live up to all of its hype. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and this is Film Flare, where we discuss anything and everything that makes film and television great. So be sure to subscribe and let's talk about a great film.
I want them to be yours one day. You have to show me you are strong enough to carry them.
Now, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings was written by the team of Destin Cretton, Dave Callaham, and Andrew Lanham, with Destin Cretton also directing the movie as well. And the story follows Shang-Chi as he's forced to confront his past when his father tracks him down and brings him home to the people and organization that he ran away from nearly 10 years earlier.
I gave you 10 years to live your life. It's time for you to take your place by my side.
This movie feels more like an extraordinary family drama rather than the superhero origin story it's meant to be, with all but the final act having nothing to do with superheroing. And honestly, I think that's where the strength of the story lies. Not in saving the world from soul-sucking demons or a rogue organization of ninjas, but in the story of a family trying to move on from their past trauma in their own separate ways. And that's also why I think personally there was no real villain in this story. Sure, the dad definitely wasn't a good guy and he was undoubtedly the antagonist, but he wasn't really a quote-unquote villain in this story. He had no grand plans to seize power and take over the world, at least not in this particular story. And here, he's really just a man who wants his family back, but does end up going about it in a very twisted way, although it is made clear that he was corrupted by outside forces along the way. But on the other hand, turning your kid into a child assassin really isn't the best look for him either.
I trained you. So the most dangerous people in the world couldn't kill you.
Was he a good person? Absolutely not. Was he a terrible father? Most certainly, but I don't think he deserves the title of a villain. Now, as far as the actors go, this movie really had a great cast, from its main characters to its supporting actors to even the ones we just see for a quick scene here and there. Simu was great in his role as the main character. Whether he was running from his past in the beginning of the movie to fully accepting who he truly is at the end. I think he played every scene and the range of development his character goes through very well all the way through. But I think where his performance really shined was in the action sequences. His stunt work training and physicality really elevated the action sequences and performances to a whole nother level that really hasn't been seen in the MCU so far. From the bus scene in the beginning, to the scaffolding in Macau, to the final battle. The practical hand-to-hand combat in this movie was some of the best fight choreography that was made even better by the fact that it didn't have to rely on a ton of quick cuts or CGI and effects to be good. Admittedly, the last act did devolve into the typical CGI army fight fest, which did distract from the more important story that was happening, but that's honestly to be expected in a movie like this, and it does do well to wrap up Shang-Chi's hero journey. Then there was Awkwafina, who manages to grow on me more and more in every new thing I see her in. And despite being the odd one out in nearly every single scene in this movie, she still manages to blend her character in well with all of the seriousness that's happening around her.
But a guy with a freaking machete for an arm just chopped our butts in half.
She really reminds me of Michael Peña's Luis in the Ant-Man, and I am glad that she did have more to offer than just witty jokes.
What happened to your shirt?
But speaking of a character who was around just for the jokes, it's always fun to see Ben Kingsley on screen in the MCU, even if he is just playing a bumbling jester who's around for nothing more than just to poke fun of his previous appearances. His part in this story was entirely unnecessary, but like most fans, I am glad that this movie finally does the long-awaited job of fixing one of the biggest wrongs in MCU history and retconning the Mandarin from Iron Man 3. And lastly, I'm gonna need more than just a couple of cameos here and there from Benedict Wong's character. A scene and a half just isn't enough of him, especially when he nails every single line he delivers. And it looks like he kind of just pieces out at the beginning of the next Spider-Man movie, so I may have to wait just a little while longer to actually see him participate in a story. Now, having been written and directed by Destin Cretton, whose resume isn't the longest, but does include films like Short Term 12, Just Mercy, and The Glass Castle, it's no wonder this film tells as good of a story as it does. Destin has a knack for telling well-paced, character-driven stories, and his co-writers Dave Callaham and Andrew Lanham bring the experience of writing larger-than-life superhero movies, and the result is a pretty well-balanced mix of the two. Unfortunately, not everything surrounding the story gets fully explained, and while I do like how the movie didn't try to force-feed the audience all of this information, I do think that there were some missed opportunities for further exploration of the backstories for Wenwu and the village of Ta Lo as well. And had this story not been in the confines of a superhero movie and been given the room to fully explore all of these characters without the obligatory existential threat to human existence, I think this story would have been a whole lot better. But that said, this is still without a doubt a really good movie. But what are your thoughts on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? Let me know in the comments below. It's available now in theaters. But before you go and watch that, please do be sure to give this a like and subscribe for more reviews like this. We've got new content coming out every week. But until next time, have a great day and don't forget to watch a great movie. Bye.
Is this what you wanted?